This is Angelo Ferrer coming out of Kajukenbo Level Up Gym, host of the Social Gelo with Angelo podcast. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about my weight loss journey. And this is mostly because someone asked on one of my other social media outlets how I cut weight, how I dropped like over 30 pounds. When I was in the US, I used to fight as a light heavyweight, sometimes middleweight. I was about 220. I was much younger. I was 25. And one of the things I need to mention right off the bat is that even though I might have been considered, my height, I'm a little under 5'10", so I'm not very tall. So according to the BMI, I'm supposed to be, and for those wondering what the BMI is, it's the body mass index. You can look it up. It's what doctors use to figure out whether or not you're considered obese or not. And at 220, I was classified as obese. But as I got into that, as I tried to hit 220, there was a point in my life where I couldn't go over 165 pounds when I was younger, and I wanted to be big. So I purposely gained a lot of weight. I purposely ate a lot and gained a lot of weight through nutrition. So I purposely ate a certain amount of carbs and proteins to go up to 220, which is about 100 kilograms for those of you looking at other types of weights. And then what I would do is I would cut down on weight and try to go down to about 185 pounds or 82 kilograms for some of my fights. But most of my fights I would do, because they were open weight class. In the US, they have this thing called open martial arts tournaments where you can compete in either kickboxing or MMA or point style karate. I personally preferred the either MMA or kickboxing, or what they call continuous sparring. And a lot of times the weight classes were kind of not so strict. They kind of fluctuated depending on the venue. But most of them, they were just small little amateur matches, and they really weren't that strict about the weight classes. So being big was always an advantage. If you get to be bigger and they put you up against a smaller opponent, then the chances of you winning are higher. Now, as time went by, I came to Japan and I ended up going to a different type of venue where the weight classes were much stricter. And I very quickly realized that I could not be 220 pounds. Health reasons, my doctor said even though I had a lot of muscle mass, that my heart wasn't going to be able to handle that forever. And I took that into consideration. After which I decided to cut weight and go down to 185 pounds to try to see if I can get more fights. And I'm not a professional fighter. It was just for my own amateur ambitions. And when I did do that, I went down to 185 pounds, about 82 kilograms. And the way I did that was by increasing the cardio and decreasing the weight training. So I was always weight training about 2 hours a day. I replaced 1 hour of weight training with 1 hour of cardio. So I would run either 6 miles, or I would do 12 rounds of kickboxing drills, martial arts drills, and then I'd do a 5K run or a 3-mile run. And I reduced what I ate by 25% at first. And when I got down to 185 pounds, 82 kilograms, I realized that I still couldn't get any fights, because people in Japan that are fighting are generally not that big. So I decided to go down some more, and I went down to 77 kilograms, which was 169 pounds, which is the welterweight division in MMA. And I finally did do that, and the way I did that was I started eating only salads for lunch, and I still do this now. I only ate salads, chicken salad, a little bit of either roast beef or ham, and I wouldn't eat any carbs for lunch. And then I reduced the amount of food I was eating by 50%. So that's something that got me to where I needed to be, but I realized it wasn't sustainable. And one of my kickboxing coaches wanted me to go even lower. They wanted me to go to the next division, which I believe was like 155, and the lowest I could ever get was 160. And I think I needed to be 158 or 157, but that was horrible. I was dehydrating myself. It was no good. And they had same day weigh-ins. In other words, dehydrating yourself and then fighting literally meant fighting dehydrated. I didn't have a 24-hour period to regain my mass lost through dehydrating myself. So I've always tried to do these weight cuts naturally, and I've never used any laxatives or anything like that. And the whole point of the story, for the people that were asking about my weight loss journey, was I did go from 220 down to as low as 160, and I found that my body in particular, 175 is good for me. So now I'm at 79 kilograms, 175 pounds. I started this little journey at 220, and I'm really not interested in trying to go lower than that. I probably could, but the amount of effort and misery, and really it's miserable. Like you don't get to eat with your friends. If you drink any alcohol, you can't drink any alcohol at all to start hitting that, what I call the 6-pack range. You get a 6-pack. Your reward is the 6-pack. And if that's what you want and that's your thing, then awesome. Hey, sacrifice everything for that 6-pack if that's what you really want. And there is some people that can pull it off. I think genetics genetically, there's probably a factor there where some people can walk around and have leaner muscle mass than others. I'm personally not one of those people. For me to have a 6-pack, I have to cut out all sugar out of my diet, and I have to eat a lot of salads. And normally I'm down to like 1 meal a day. And I already train a lot, so I can't really supplement it. I already train 2 to 3 hours a day. And now I'm a little more realistic. I got a family and stuff. So I try to do 30 minutes of cardio every day. Either 12 rounds of martial arts training, 3 minutes each, 30-second breaks. If you haven't seen my workout videos, check out this channel. There's some home workout videos you can do. I do that on either heavy bag or shadow boxing. Or I run 5K, 3 miles. I could probably do more if I wanted to get more, but what I saw out of it for my body is I still want some muscle mass. I'm not competing anymore, I'm retired. And I like to have a little muscle mass, and I like being a little bit bigger, because again, it does give me a bit of an advantage when I'm sparring someone who's bigger. So that's my weight loss journey that I hope you can kind of keep in mind about if you're looking at a weight loss journey yourself. It did mess with me. And for those of you that have been on a weight loss journey, if you haven't, what happens is once you're a certain size and you start trying to get smaller, nothing's ever good enough. Nothing is ever good enough. Once you actually do get that 6-pack, you'll always look back to that time that you had that 6-pack. And sustaining that 6-pack is not easy. You can get a nutritionist, and the nutritionist will help you get the nutrition you need, but following that nutrition program is gonna mean if you have a family, it's gonna mean not eating with your family. Unless your whole family is gonna join you on your weight loss journey, which is, I don't know, I have qualms about dragging other people into what I'm doing. So then my family in particular, my wife, she doesn't have issues with obesity, right? So like to drag her into this nutrition program because I want a 6-pack and she's not interested in having a 6-pack, it just seems kind of selfish, in my opinion. Now, if you have a family that everyone's on board to go on this weight loss journey, you're gonna be this 6-pack person, that's great. But what I want to mention is that there is a lot of issues with body dysmorphia that I know I still have. I still feel, even though I'm down to 175, I still feel I'm kind of big. I kind of gained weight because you just get stuck in this mentality of cutting calories and cutting weight, and you just start feeling like you're always out of shape, which is psychologically, I feel, is not good for you. So that's something you want to keep in mind if you're on any type of weight loss journey, is to always remember where you were at. I always remind myself that when I'm being hard on myself, being like, oh, I gained a pound or 2 over a holiday. I always remind myself, wait a second, man. In the greater scheme of things, I was at 220 and I was eating way too much. I was eating way too much. And I'll never go back to that. That's for sure. I'll never start binge eating, because that's what I was pretty much doing. Is I wasn't putting a cap on how much I would eat. And I always have to look back at that and be happy with where I am right now. and not think about how well I did at one point with a routine that was unsustainable. That's the biggest thing. If you're on a weight training program that's unsustainable and you look great, just remember that it's unsustainable, and you're actually redlining what you can do. Find something comfortable. And even now, I find myself criticizing the way I look at 39 and being 175. And I find myself sometimes cutting weight just to hit, I don't know, like I said, I really think it's an issue with body dysmorphia, and I've seen bodybuilders get it, and I'm pretty sure I know, I'll be honest, I have it. I have a problem with it. I'm not happy with the way I look like in the mirror, no matter how much I cut, even when I was down to 160. And probably because in the world I'm in, my coach was saying that I still need to lose more weight, and I had a six pack. So like this really messes with you and the way you see your body. And I want to warn people that are in a weight loss journey. Just remember where you're at. Are you healthy? Is your doctor saying you have to lose weight? I know, and that's why I told myself, I went to the doctor. When I was at 220, doctor told me I had to lose weight. I'm in trouble if I don't. Cholesterol levels are off the charts. And even though it's a lot of muscle mass, my heart can't take it. My blood work came back bad. I go to my doctor now, my doctor says, blood work's great, sugar levels are great, everything's great. So now really it's a question about how I feel about my body, not about what kind of health am I in. Like, am I healthy enough? Yes. My doctor is telling me I'm healthy enough, my blood work is coming back clean. And I think that is something that's more important than stressing over whether or not how pronounced your six pack is. All right, that's the end of my little fitness motivation video. Change your mind, body, and spirit every day. And check out the podcast if you get a chance, Social Gelo with Angelo, and I'll catch you all later. Peace.